We like to think of ourselves as creatures who move toward pleasure and flee from pain. We believe we want to be happy. If a behavior makes us miserable, we should stop doing it. If a habit hurts us, we should drop it. This is the first lie. You spend hours scrolling through content that makes you feel inadequate. You stay in a job that drains your soul every morning. You return to people who have proven they do not care for you. You do this while claiming you want a better life. By all logic, you are a victim of your circumstances. You tell yourself that you are trapped by bad luck or bad timing. But if you look closer, you will see that you are the one holding the leash. You are the one choosing the poison. Most people call this lack of willpower or poor choices. They think you just haven't tried hard enough to be happy yet. They offer you journals, morning routines, and motivational speeches. They promise that a simple mindset shift will fix your broken life. But these are shallow bandages for a deep biological reality. You aren't failing at being happy. You are succeeding at being miserable. Your misery is not a mistake. It is a highly efficient state of being that your brain has chosen for a reason. We assume addiction is only about drugs or gambling. We think it is a specific failure of the weak-minded among us. The truth is much darker. You are addicted to the feeling of being stuck because stuck is the only place you feel safe. The pain you feel is predictable. The misery you inhabit is a known territory, and in nature, the known is always safer than the unknown. You are not chasing pleasure. You are chasing certainty. You would rather be certain of your suffering than uncertain of your joy. This is the hidden trap of the human animal. We have built a psychological home in the very places that are killing us. You might wonder why your mind would crave the very thing that makes you want to cry. It feels like a betrayal. We call this the safety of the familiar grave. Your brain has decided that a predictable misery is better than a risky peace. Most creators will tell you how to break your bad habits. They want to lead you to a light they don't even understand. On this channel, we do not care about fixing you. We care about showing you the cold, mechanical reasons why you refuse to move. This is the only place where the truth is not sanitized for your protection. We look directly at the machine that owns you. If you are ready to stop lying to yourself about why you stay in the dirt, you have found your people. Stop living in the dark. Join those who have the courage to face the uncomfortable reality of their own internal wiring. Click the subscribe button now. It is the moment you stop being a passenger in your own psychological decay and start watching. By subscribing, you are acknowledging that the happiness you claim to want is actually the thing you fear most in the world. Now that you have committed to the truth, we must look at the blueprint of your addiction to the dark. The reason you can't stop doing what hurts you isn't because you are weak. It is because your ancestors survived by being miserable. Your brain is making a cold, evolutionary calculation that places your survival far above your desire for a meaningful life. But what happens when the survival mechanism that kept your ancestors alive becomes the very thing that ruins your modern soul? The answer lies in the cold logic of the predator. To understand why you crave the knife, we must look much deeper. Do you know what your brain sees when you finally experience a moment of pure, uncomplicated joy? It doesn't see a reward. It sees a vulnerability that must be neutralized immediately. It sees a threat to the miserable stability you have worked so hard to build. To understand why you crave your own suffering, we must look at the logic of the organism. Survival is about energy conservation. In the wild, exploring new territory is a high-risk gamble. The unknown forest contains predators, toxins, and lethal surprises that you cannot predict. The territory where you have already suffered is the territory you have survived. The pain you know is a proven environment. Your brain values the proven above all else. It treats a familiar misery as a successful survival strategy because you are still breathing. When you try to move toward a better life, you are entering the unknown. To your primitive mind, better is just another word for untested. The untested is a threat to the species. Therefore, your nervous system triggers a state of high alert whenever you attempt to be happy. You feel an inexplicable urge to return to the drama, the debt, or the toxic relationship. This is not a choice. It is a retreat. You are retreating to the safety of the cage. The bars are cold, and the space is small, but you know exactly where they are. This is the cold logic of the baseline. Your brain has set your emotional thermostat to a state of low-level distress. If you become too happy, the thermostat kicks in. It generates thoughts of worry, guilt, or shame to bring the temperature back down. It would rather you be consistently miserable than occasionally ecstatic. Consistency is the key to managing a biological system. Ask yourself this: when was the last time you felt truly peaceful without immediately looking for something to worry about? Did you feel a sense of accomplishment, or did you feel like you were waiting for an invisible ceiling to collapse on you? Your brain interprets peace as a lack of data. It views a calm mind as a blind mind, and a blind animal as an eaten animal. So it feeds you a steady diet of the things that make you miserable. It keeps you scrolling, fighting, and doubting. By keeping you in a state of chronic stress, your brain ensures you are always hyper-aware of your surroundings. You are always ready. You are addicted to misery because misery keeps you sharp. It keeps you in a state of perpetual preparation for a ghost war. Modern life has removed the lions and the famines, but your brain has not received the message. It is still hiding in the cave. Since there are no real predators to fight, you turn your own habits into the enemy. You create a struggle to feel alive. Does it feel like you are fighting a war with yourself that you secretly don't want to win? Winning would mean the end of the struggle. And without the struggle, your brain doesn't know who you are or how to keep you safe in the silence. You choose the addiction because the addiction provides a familiar rhythm to your days. It gives you a reason to keep moving. Even the worst habits offer a strange sense of comfort through their sheer repetition. They are the background noise of your survival. You are not looking for a way out. You are looking for a way to stay in without feeling the weight of the walls. But the walls are closing in. The survival mechanism that saved your ancestors is now suffocating the person you are today. What happens to a creature that becomes so adapted to the dark that the sunlight starts to feel like a burn? You are reaching a point where your misery is no longer a shield. It is becoming the very poison you were trying to avoid. We are about to look at what this constant state of survival does to the person you thought you were building. The damage is not in the habits themselves. It is in the way your soul begins to warp to fit the shape of your misery. Are you prepared to see the distorted version of yourself that has learned to love the weight of the chains? The invisible damage of being addicted to misery is the slow, systematic replacement of your identity with a set of defenses. You are no longer a person with desires. You are a collection of reactions. Your personality has become a byproduct of your pain. By staying in the familiar territory of your suffering, you are teaching your nervous system that joy is a dangerous hallucination. You are allowed to recognize that your current self is actually a survival suit. It was built for a war that isn't happening. You have permission to see that you are not bad at life. You are simply overtrained for a catastrophe that has passed. The damage occurs when you begin to mistake the weight of your misery for the weight of your own soul. You feel heavy, so you assume you are deep. You feel tired, so you assume you have been working towards something. But you are only walking in circles inside a fortress of your own making. You are treading water in a pool of lead. Each time you return to a toxic habit, you are deleting a potential version of yourself that could have existed in the light. You are performing a soft lobotomy on your own curiosity. You are killing the parts of you that want to explore and grow. Eventually, the you that wanted to be happy becomes a stranger. You look at happy people and feel a cold, distant contempt. You tell yourself they are shallow or naive. You believe your misery has given you a secret wisdom that they lack. This is the ultimate trap. You have begun to take pride in your own chains. You have turned your prison into a palace. The identity you have built is a monument to what you have endured, rather than what you have created or enjoyed. You are allowed to mourn the person you were before you decided that staying miserable was the only way to stay safe. This grief is the only thing that is truly yours. It is the only part of you that hasn't been co-opted by the survival machine. But even this grief is dangerous. The machine wants to turn it into a reason to stay stuck, to stay in the familiar dark. You have become so adapted to the pressure of your misery that without it, you feel like you might simply float away. The lack of pain starts to feel like a lack of substance. You feel empty when you aren't hurting, so you seek out hurt. This is how the identity is fully compromised. You begin to manufacture crises just to feel the solid ground of a problem. You are living in a state of self-imposed sabotage because you don't know who you are without a fire to put out. The consequences of this are a life that is lived entirely in the shadows of almost. You are almost happy, almost free, but the almost is a calculated distance maintained by your brain to ensure you never actually cross the border into the unknown. You are allowed to see that this process is exhausting. You are permitted to feel the sheer weight of being your own jailer. What happens when you realize that the person you are protecting is actually the one who is suffocating you to death? What if the safety you have cultivated is actually the very thing that is preventing your heart from beating truly? The damage is done. Your map of the world is now entirely colored by the tint of your own self-inflicted suffering. You are reaching the end of the illusion. The realization that follows is not a doorway out, but a window into the cell. Are you prepared to look through the glass and see the person who has been holding the lock this entire time? We are moving into the final layer of this recognition. It is the moment where the addiction is finally called by its name. The recognition of your addiction is the moment you stop asking why you are unhappy and start realizing that you don't want to be anything else. You have lived in the gray for so long that your eyes can no longer process the vibrance of a life lived without a burden. Now, you see the room for what it is. It is a space filled with the tools of your own containment, organized with terrifying precision. The things that make you miserable are not intruders. They are the furniture of your soul, and you have spent years arranging them. You have achieved the ultimate goal of the survival instinct. You have created a world that is perfectly, undeniably, and eternally predictable. There is no risk of disappointment, because you have already decided that the worst is inevitable. You are safe in your own defeat. The misery you inhabit is not a flaw in your design. It is the signature of a machine that values breathing over living. You look in the mirror and realize that the person staring back is not a victim of their habits. They are the architect. The real you is the one who feels a secret surge of power every time you choose the familiar pain over the risky joy. This is the haunting clarity of the human animal. You are not searching for a way out. You are searching for a better way to stay. You choose the misery because the misery gives you a shape. It gives you a weight in a world that feels frighteningly light. There is no advice to give because you cannot give advice to someone who is in love with their own wreckage. You will likely find a new goal or a new relationship. You will feel that familiar surge of potential and the hope of a fresh start. And then, with the cold efficiency of a predator, you will find the one thing that ruins it, and you will hold on to it. The cycle is not a problem to be solved. It is the frequency your heart has been tuned to since you first learned to fear the sun. You realize now that the help you were seeking was just another way to pass the time until you could return to the dark. You were always the one who was going to stay. You were the one who made the misery a fundamental part of your biology. The things that hurt you were never the enemy. They were the anchors that kept you from drifting into the terrifying open sea of freedom. The truth is that you don't actually want to be healed. You want to be comfortable while you continue to slowly bleed out. Every time you choose the poison, you are casting a vote for the person you have become. You are winning the race to the bottom. It is a hollow victory, but it is the only one you know how to celebrate. You are the undisputed master of your own decay. You will go to bed tonight in the familiar ache of a life that is exactly as small and painful as you made it. You will tell yourself that tomorrow will be different, but you will know in the silent parts of your mind that it won't. The addiction to the dark is now the only thing that feels like the truth. The rest is just a performance you give for the world. You will continue to be the curator of your own suffering, because the alternative is a silence you are not brave enough to hear. The realization is cold and permanent. You are the only person who can walk away, and you are the only person who never will. The machine will keep humming. The thermostat will keep adjusting. The misery will keep you safe until the very end, and you will stand in the middle of your ruin, watching the horizon, waiting for a savior you have already decided to reject. You are safe now. You are protected. You are a masterpiece of functional despair that no one will ever be allowed to change. In the end, we don't hold on to our habits to stay alive. We hold on to them to avoid finding out who we are without them. It is much easier to be the one who suffers than the one who has to decide what to do with their own happiness. The room is silent now. The light is fading. The addiction has finally become the only thing you have left to call your own. I wonder if you'll still be looking for a way out when you finally realize you are the one who locked the door. You have won the battle against the unknown. And now you have the rest of your life to live with the person you've become. The chain is not around your neck. It is held firmly in your own hand, and you have never felt more secure. We are so frightened of the void that we would rather fill it with broken glass than leave it empty for a single second. Perhaps the most unsettling realization is that your misery isn't a wall keeping you in, but a bridge you refuse to stop crossing. Next, we will look at the chemical reason your brain creates a sense of nostalgia for the very traumas that almost destroyed you. If you were truly happy tomorrow, would you even recognize the person looking back at you in the mirror?